Welcome to another divine download of Detoxing from the Matrix podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay Caracardi, mental projector, glitch in the matrix, spiritual practitioner, and master spiritual psychology coach. And I am here so excited. You guys are with me as I'm on the road visiting Florida again. And we have a super bomb episode to get into today because we're going to be talking about the evolution of money. Many of you, I'm sure, I know that all of my clients, all of the people that are in my communities and in my Facebook group, and many of you are probably going to relate to this feeling that you have been noticing that there has been a very real shift happening, maybe in your relationship with money. You probably definitely notice it in prices and watching things that are going on with banks, and maybe you're experiencing it in your own bank account, in your business. And today we're going to get into kind of why all of this is happening and what is really the deeper energetic spiritual reasoning underneath these shifts and why it has to happen, as well as why it is happening perfectly. So I am so excited, you guys. So let's go ahead and take a moment and take a deep breath in, as we always do. Let's just get centered. Let's just get here now as we breathe in together and exhale out. And just dropping all of the stresses, all of the worries, all of the tensions, and coming into this moment, coming into this space. And I just recognize you. I recognize you as the spiritual being you are. I recognize you as the infinite, infinite, infinite intelligence, the expression of divine that is you, that is me, that is all of us. And I recognize in this thing called life that is a perfect mirror. It is designed perfectly for your awakening, for my awakening, for each and every one of our awakenings, knowing that we are on this journey together. And thus, I bless this conversation. I bless this space. I bless you. I bless your day. May you go in peace. May you be in peace. May you receive the answers that you need. May you receive something today that allows you to go, I get it. Now I trust in my plan and my purpose and my power. And I release my word up in so much gratitude, witnessing you, recognizing you, thanking you for being here, knowing my word is law. And so it is. So just leaning into this energy of money and this energy of evolution and this energy of ascension that we are all smack in the middle of right now. So I'm curious, I would love for you to just kind of consider over this past year, how has your dynamic or your relationship with money shifted? Ponder that while I share a story. So my story to share with you today starts off, of course, having to do with my business. Those of you that are have been fans from the podcast, or if you've worked with me or you're in my Facebook group, you know that everything that happens for me in my business tends to be the catalyst to my spiritual journey. For whatever reason, my highest self has designed this path to my awakening and my liberation and my ascension through my business and through my work and through money. Money has been my master, master, master teacher. For some of you, it may be your relationships, your partnerships. Some of you, it may be job or career. Many of you, probably your children or your parents or your family. Those are your master relationships, right? We've all got one or several areas of life that tend to be our master teachers. So you can always take these stories and look for your own parallels to these stories, even if it's not money, but it's, your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whomever, your kids, your parents, your boss, right? Your relationship with your job, whatever it is, you guys just listen. Listen. I invite you to listen for how the similarities of our journeys parallel. And even if you've never had a struggle or a learning with specifically money, your struggles or your learning or your evolution may be happening in other areas, but totally paralleling how it happens for me through money in my business. Okay. So recently I found myself smack in the middle of the lowest sales month that I have had in business in a really long time. And now this was on the back of so many things happening in February and March for us, for me individually, and for us in our marriage. We had several things kind of unfold that were unexpected. We had, some things happen to our Jeep. It was in the shop for 6 weeks and it was $4,500 that we didn't plan on spending. And then we got it back and we had to, replace the battery and then the alternator. And so it was like very much this energy of like one thing after another, right? Very much this energy of this snowballing effect of all of this money having to go out that we weren't really expecting to spend, right? So it was a little bit like, it felt like the floodgates were opening what felt like a negative way, right? It felt like I didn't have power or control over any of it. And it really demanded surrender from me. At the same time, my husband also had his trip back to Australia to see his family. And so there was this snowballing effect, like I said, right? Money going out, money going out, money going out. Our credit card balances were creeping up. And then boom, the sales in my business were just like, it was like crickets. It was crickets, you guys. And, I had to realize throughout it, because as it was happening, as it was unfolding, I had these very real moments where I was witnessing the survival aspect of myself, right? I was witnessing the part of myself that had been so ruled by a couple of key programs, right? My core programs were I have to do it myself, right? I'm not supported. I have to do everything myself. Um, that must be nice for other people, but I don't get that, right? So it was very much this energy of I'm just not supported. I have to go out and make it happen because I don't just get things, okay? So as I was navigating through this time and I was watching all of this unfold and I was watching the money I had access to in my accounts go down, credit card balances were going up, bills were going up, and it very much was bringing up this situation where part of me wanted to freak the fuck out and panic. Okay. And I'm going to tell you guys, I allowed myself the freak out, right? Because in the freak out, there is medicine. This is what I really want you guys to understand. When it comes to money, or if money is not your master teacher, but relationships are, or your health is, or whatever it is, when it comes to the thing that is your master teacher, you're going to notice that there is a part of you that feels like it is going to die if that area of your life is threatened, right? So for me, this was money. Well, if I don't have money, if I'm not making enough money, oh my God, right? The brain, knowing that it deletes, distorts, and generalizes, it collapses everything into whatever your core programming is. Mine was going right to crisis, right? I'm going to be homeless. Oh my God, I failed. And as an end result, it's just death. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Okay. Now, because I've done so much work in my trauma and in my nervous system and in my subconscious, I was able to witness this narrative and this program coming up without it grabbing a hold of me. Okay, you guys, we've talked about this numerous times. I've talked about this in other episodes. I talk about this all the time in my Facebook group, where if something is still grabbing a hold of you and you cannot see the forest for the trees when it is happening, that is your indication it's time to do some trauma work, some subconscious reprogramming, and some nervous system work, okay? You cannot go right to observing your programs if you don't clear out the emotional charge. So because I have cleared out so much of the emotional charges, I was able to observe, right? I was able to lean into the medicine of the freak out, right? And the freak out was showing me it was the release of this lower density part of myself that was still very rooted in ego. It was very, very rooted in proving myself in the material world. Okay. So through honoring the rising up of that emotion, I let it happen. I observed myself. I leaned in. I got curious. I was able to see and hear and recognize this part of me that, like I said, was so driven by proving myself and was terrified that if I didn't prove myself in the material world, I was somehow failing. And do you guys know what I found on the other side of that? What I found on the other side of that, this is so funny, was that all of my money goals, all of my business goals, my desire to make $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month, $20,000 a month, all of those goals that I've reached was driven by not my spiritual self, not my highest self, not my true, authentic mental projector self. It was driven by my ego. It was driven by my small self. Now, that's not to judge it. You guys, it's not to judge any of it because it's all perfection and it is all divine and it's all part of us. However, the wisdom of life is really looking at and learning, like, where am I allowing my small fear-based ego-centered self to drive my goals, and where am I listening to my highest self, my truest self? Because the truth was, on the other side of that, I don't care about making tons and tons of money. I don't care. I don't care about having tons and tons of money sitting in a bank account somewhere. I don't care about that. That does nothing for me. It doesn't impress me. Deep down, it doesn't. I don't care if I have all of these assets, right? I don't really care. I just want to drive a vehicle that I love getting in every time I get in it, right? I care less about what it looks like or what model it is or whatever, right? And so as I was examining this and I was looking at all this and I was confronting myself, it was like, oh, wow. And then the question arose within me, well, if I don't want all of that, what do I want? Right? What do I want? And the answer was spiritual sovereignty, right? The answer was to make an impact and to live an authentic life. And yes, experience luxury. Absolutely, right? Yes, experience freedom, be able to have the freedom to travel, when I want, where I want, how I want to work, to not work. If I want to go hike for 3 months in the woods, I can do that. If I want to rent a place in a town for a year, I have the freedom to do that, right? And really just living in the knowingness, in the true abundance of everything is available at all times. And I do not have to hoard it or hang on to it or manufacture it in order to have it. Okay. So as I sat with that even more, I started to understand some things about divine abundance frequency and the frequency of money and of wealth and of prosperity and what it really is and what it's been being confused with, right? Because what abundance has been being confused with is this idea of like, well, right, there's all these like abundance coaches that are online and manifestation coaches that are online, and they're telling you and showing you they have all of this money and all of this luxury. And you guys, there's no shade, right? Like if that's in alignment with someone to make all of that money every month and have millions or thousands or whatever sitting in a bank account and assets all over the place, like that's cool. I don't care. I'm not mad at them. I'm not judging them. It's good for them if that's what is authentic. And if that's what is authentic for you, well, then go for it, right? It's not what's authentic for me. And I had to make peace with and recognize in my own life that there is an evolution happening when it comes to money and abundance and wealth and prosperity. And I am part of this evolution, right? And I'm part of this evolution because I'm here to be a demonstration. I'm here to be an embodiment. I'm here to anchor in a frequency of abundance that has nothing to do with the money sitting in your bank account, right? I'm here to be a representation of, just like in the Bible, okay? When Jesus sent his disciples out in the Bible, he told them, go out to the towns, and I'm going to paraphrase here. These are my words, not the official words, okay? So don't quote me. He told them basically, go off and spread the word. And if you find yourself in a town where your needs are not being met and you are not being heard and you are not clothed and you are not fed, do not stay there. That town is not for you. Go on to the next. For when you reach a town where they clothe you and feed you and take care of you, that is where you are meant to share this message and to pass these teachings along. Okay. And that to me speaks volumes for the true energy of abundance, right? When Jesus, again, the Bible, right? When Jesus fed the multitudes with the loaves and the fishes. Now we have no idea. We have no idea what actually happened. If he held the knowing and someone just showed up, that's manifestation. Maybe he really did manifest it out of two and he turned it into thousands. Who knows, right? We don't have to know. The point is, it's not about literally how it happened. It's about the energetics and the metaphysics of what is being taught there, right? And it's like, if you know and if you believe, then you don't need to walk around hoarding money and resources. Like the idea of needing more money than you actually go through each month sitting in a bank account or sitting in assets is actually rooted in scarcity and lack and competition, because it says I don't believe I will have what I need when I need it. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have it sitting in this bank account or sitting in the form of these assets because I don't actually believe I'm going to have what I need when I need it. That is what that says. Okay. And I know that that's going to piss off a lot of abundance coaches and manifestation coaches. And I don't fucking care because that's just the truth of it. Right. If what I came to realize when the sales in my business slowed down this past month and I was presented with this opportunity for stillness and reflection and to go deep within my inside of myself, I really started to understand and realize that if you are not just as joyous, free, happy, and blissful and abundant with $5 in the bank as you are when you have 5 million in the bank, well, then you're not embodying true abundance, because true abundance, true embodiment and relationship with abundance doesn't need to have money sitting there. And I know this is going to drive people crazy. I know the brain is going to want to explode and all of the what ifs, and I have to prepare. And what if this happens? And what if that happens? And people are going to argue because this is totally going to poke at a blind spot for a lot of people. And I don't care. That's okay. That's what I'm here to do as a mental projector. Okay. There are a lot of spiritual teachers out there, abundance teachers. And again, it's not to make them wrong. Everybody's perfect where they are, and everybody is having their medicine where they are. I just want to share the perspective with you that if someone is not just as abundant with $5 in the bank and knowing that they can still do everything they need and they freak out, well, then that's not true abundance. It's just being really good at making money in the matrix. And there's nothing wrong with being good at making money in the matrix, right? If that's what somebody wants and that's what they're good at and that's what they're doing and they're enjoying it and they're fulfilled, awesome, right? Awesome. But for many of you, like me, for many of you who listen to this podcast, who come and work with me, who are parts of my community, you are here for a deeper purpose. You are here for something more, right? And you were never going to be designed to just be good at making money and getting in the luxury without the deeper journey, right? The deeper journey is what is needed. This actually says you are wise and you are an advanced soul. Okay. And if you're really resonating with this, well, then yes, I would say that that indicates that you are here to be part of the new frequency of abundance, the new paradigm of abundance. Okay. I want to invite you to stop looking at your bank account and making it wrong. Right? What if you could trust, regardless of what's happening in your bank account, what's happening in your business, money's coming in, money's not coming in, you're making money, you're not making money. What if you knew without a doubt that you had everything you need and would have everything you need? What if you knew that? How would you behave differently? Okay. Because money is evolving, abundance is evolving. And the proof of this was as the result of me surrendering to that journey over the last few months. What has now unfolded is that I have been more in a state of true abundance than I have ever been before in my life. So I have had less money in my bank account than I've had in a long time. However, every single time I got clear and I got specific and I got intentional because something needed to be paid or there was something I wanted to happen, guess what? It happened. Money came in, money was generated, and it came in the most easeful and organic ways because I was no longer chasing or trying to fit in a mold of what I thought I had to be for success, right? Hence the fact that I'm traveling right now. I'm in Florida from Colorado. You guys know we live full time in our RV, but we're summering in Colorado. I'm here in Florida, right? Things unfold. And because I've opened up from this command of I'm not supported and I have to do it all alone, and I've been willing to go deep and heal my relationship with the divine, because you guys better believe something, right? If you have a block around being supported because you're just replaying the dynamic of your parents, your mom, your dad, whoever, not being there, abuse, abandonment, whatever the story is, rejection, not good enough, that you keep playing out because it's what you experienced with your parents, I guarantee you that by focusing on healing your relationship with the divine, with spirit, with God, with source, the great mystery, you will heal all of those areas of your life as well. Because it all starts, this is the nature of oneness, you guys. The nature of oneness is that it's all one thing, and it's just all paradigms repeating and repeating, the microcosm to the macrocosm. Okay. And money is no different. So if you have an abandonment thing with a parent, you might have an abandonment thing with money. You might have an abandonment thing with a parent, but then be overworking to prove yourself. And because you're overworking to prove yourself, your money situation's all good, right? But it's not about the money that's there. It's about what is the energy that you are creating that support from. Because all of us are only ever seeking support and security. But if you seek support and security through money, which is what one of the driving paradigms of the world, and then you find a way to make that money, you'll usually find that you still don't feel supported, safe, or secure, even with all that money. And that is exactly why billionaires on the planet are some of the biggest hoarders there are. They may not hoard money, but they hoard resources. They think they have to freaking manage and hoard resources because they believe so deeply in lack and scarcity. That's not abundance. That's not wealth. And I don't want all the money in the world if it's going to be in that energy, right? And so the work begins within. So we are being evolved and we are being demanded to step into a more truer abundance frequency that is rooted in there is always enough. I don't have to keep and hang on and hold and hoard. There is always enough. There is always enough. This can only come as a result of expanding your consciousness and getting into oneness, right? True, authentic oneness and abundance. That's the vibe right now. And because of this work and the light workers and the star seeds like you, like me, who are doing this work right now, we're going to begin to see very big shifts happening in the relationship with physical money, digital money, wherever money's going, right? We're going to start to see the results of this playing out in how we interact with it in the external world. And all I know is that I trust. So I'm curious for you guys. I would love to hear from you. Reach out, share on social media, tag me. What have you been experiencing in the realm of money? What's been going on for you? Where have you been feeling the squeeze? Where have you been feeling the abundance? What's been your experience? And as always, you can join us in the Money Matrix Detox Facebook group to have a discussion about this and join my weekly lives for Mind Right Monday, every single Monday, as well as a series of masterclasses that's going to be starting in that Facebook group on all things related to ascension. So if you're not in there, definitely come join us. I'm going to leave the link in the show notes for you. Okay, let's go ahead and take a deep breath in and let's just recognize as we breathe that there is no shortage, and exhale out and truly, 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 truly recognizing the truth beyond all the noise and the bullshit, recognizing the truth beyond all the denial, recognizing for money what it is, the master teacher that is here to show us so much, recognizing the portal of evolution that is opening up before us right here, right now, that we may step in and see and know and embody and call forth this true essence of abundance, this true essence of spirit as supply, and just declaring right here, right now, that we know spirit is our supply. There is no need to hoard money and bank money and keep money. I see the truth. I know the truth that is beyond the illusion of this third dimensional matrix, beyond all of the programmings of security and financial security and banking and assets, beyond all of the noise, beyond all of the noise. I see the truth. And that truth is that spirit, God, source is life, and life is my supply. Spirit is my supply. I recognize that There is nothing to be wanted. There is nothing to be needed because it is all right here, right now. I recognize this truth beyond the illusion of separation, beyond the illusion of need, beyond the illusion of lack, of scarcity, of sickness. I see this truth, and this truth is that it is all here, right now. It always has been. It always will be. And we are transcending this illusion of separation, of lack, of scarcity right now. I recognize it in you. I recognize it in me, and I declare it is done. I know that we are spirit, you are spirit, I am spirit, spirit in form. And there is no end, there is no limitation because it is infinite, it is all it is. And I just, in so much gratitude, thank you, thank you, thank you. As I release my word up, I know it is done. And so it is, as we say together. I always thank you for being here. Thank you for spending some of your time here with me, expanding your consciousness, diving deep into these conversations as we detox from the matrix. And I will see you on the next episode.